One of the things that I love about this show is that I have the opportunity to hear and chronicle the journeys of believers to Islam. And I was blessed to hear your testimony, as I stated earlier, when you visited the city of New Orleans. But if you can, would you be willing to share your journey to Islam for the viewers who may have not heard how you came? Because it's a very interesting story of how you came to accept the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. So if you can, we would appreciate it.
Yes, sir, my brother. It was in high school where I was introduced to the teachings by a young registered FOI who was a senior when I was, I believe, a sophomore. Or a junior. I can't remember if it was my sophomore or junior year, but he was a senior in that class, and he was a registered FOI. And he would come to school, dressed so different from us. And even from time to time, he'd wear his suit and bow tie, but generally it was just different, wearing like corduroys and, sweaters, cardigan sweaters. We weren't dressing like that back then. Not on a regular basis unless somebody made us dress like that. But he was always very quiet. Everybody liked him though, but he kind of kept to himself. And I was we were seated together during what was called study hall. That's why as an upperclassman, I really wouldn't have any classes with him when he was two years ahead of me or a year ahead of me. But we happened to have what was called study hall together, where literally we were given a 40-minute period, I believe it was, to sit and supposedly get our homework or whatever done, which we never did. He was always reading or working though in that time period. And he was one day reading a book. I saw the cover at the top. All I remembered at first was it said "From God in Person." And I mean, that struck me. I'd never seen a book with that on the cover. And of course, it was the book How to Eat to Live by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And just making small talk, you know how you do in high school. I didn't really know him like that. So I just asked, what is it? And he was telling me, oh, it's a book about, the dietary law that I follow. But he was very kind of, I don't know if he just didn't want to answer questions or he was really focused on his study, but you could tell he wasn't trying to make a lot of small talk with me in reference to my question. And I said, can I see it? And he kind of a little begrudgingly let me see it. And I started flipping through it. And I remember I was just flipping through it. I said, this is interesting. And I was not a big reader by any means, but it was interesting to me. And I asked him if I could, check it out, like hold on to it for a day or two. And now looking back, I never had borrowed a book before, except for maybe the library where we had to take out a book or something. So I never was somebody who was asking to read things. And he begrudgingly said, okay, but you got to bring it back. So I believe it was over the weekend or the next couple of days. I took it and read the whole thing. Because if you've seen How to Eat to Live, it's not a very big book.